one thing that I wanted to bring up is that the old pop-up assembly was brass, and it also had a steel top. And when you use metal, you use plumber's putty. You can put plumber's putty around and then smash it down, and also use it on the faucet. However, this faucet that I purchased is a fairly inexpensive faucet by Oakbrook. And it's got plastic, and it has a plastic pop-up, which again, this is for my place, so I really wasn't going to throw something too expensive. We run off of a well, and the well, it plays havoc on plumbing parts, and I really don't want to be replacing these every 2 years with very expensive faucets, so hence I go for the inexpensive. So when you're using plastic, you'll want to use a silicone, either acrylic or latex based silicone. And this that I'm using is waterproof, a premium waterproof silicone kitchen and bath plumbing. It's a clear, and what I'll end up doing is putting a bead around this, and I'll also put a bead around the bottom of the faucet on the plastic, and right around here, and then push it down when I put the nuts on to secure it. Okay, just wanted to make that clear that on some of these parts you do not want to use anything that is oil based, like plumber's putty, okay, or anything else. I think there's a pipe dope, plumber's putty, or anything that's oil based you don't want to use on any of the plastic. And especially you want to read manufacturer's warranties and specs on what you have for that specific faucet on what you should be using. Okay? Okay, so here's the pop-up assembly. And again, a pop-up assembly comes with a rubber washer, and it has a little bit of a lip. The lip goes up. It's going to seat up inside the sink. So that'll be the first piece you put on. The second, as in the last, has this little rubber washer that goes over that one. So when the nut goes on and it's turning, it doesn't crimp this top one. It'll actually slide freely on the one in the center. And what I'm going to do is put a bead of clear silicone on underneath here, drop it down into the sink, and then go ahead and attach this. And then when I'm done, I'll go ahead and show you. Okay? Now you can see I've attached the pop-up assembly. This, for the pop-up, has a slot, and you can see it's offset. The offset needs to go to the back, because it's going to slide on that little button you see way down inside there. Now I've already attached that. I'm going to take that back out right now, slide this down inside, and then go ahead and reattach it. Okay. This is about as easy as they come. This one's actually got a thread on the outside. You just screw it real tight. So you'll drop this assembly in, making sure that that's to the back. Like that. Okay, I went ahead and slid that down inside, and then I slid the pop-up assembly back up through, and now I'll show you reaching under the cabinet. Okay, I've installed a small bead around the inlets and also around the plastic. And then I will go ahead and set that here. Don't have to worry about too much on centering it right away, because you still have to put the washer or the nuts on. I have these plastic nuts. I'm going to go ahead and put on from the bottom, and then once I do that, I'll go ahead and show you how to finish off the pop-up assembly. Okay, that's installed, solid, and it's centered. Now this pop-up assembly is rather simple again, since these days are plastic world. It's getting away from steel, or making things easy, I guess, but this has this little piece here which the pop-up assembly goes down inside. So it's a quick release, pretty simple. So what you do with this is go ahead and put it down in here, and then I'll go up underneath, just pop that on, and then I'll adjust this wherever it lands to have it fully open and fully closed to seal is where I'll put it through these holes. Okay, Now, one thing to remember is the pop-up assembly starts in the down position because it's pushing up on the top side. That means it's closed to hold water. Now it's going to release water. So if you take this and attach it, okay, and then realize that now that's, like I said, that's up, that's down, in the up position. I'm going to go ahead and figure out where it's going to go, and this just pops on here. I don't know if I like this assembly too much. So now if you lifted, that's pretty loose. Let's try this side. Okay, now that should be, when you pull it up, that'll close it. You drop it down, it should open it. Okay, it's about as simple as it comes. And that will be the pop-up assembly for this installation. The other ones obviously had clips and they're metal and they have adjustments, and they also have a little wing nut up here that you can turn and tighten up. But for this assembly, being in plastic, that's basically it. Now I went ahead and installed the supply lines and finished up the pop-up. But what I wanted to show you, and I did this on purpose just to give you an idea of what can happen, is these spin. You can actually take these supply lines and turn them while you're tightening them and keep them straight. If you don't, and you crank these down, they'll actually twist the line and you'll see it's kinked. And you don't want to kink it. So you want to make sure it stays nice and round and doesn't kink right at the bottom. Okay, so I'll go ahead and redo this one, but I just wanted to show you what can happen, and you want to avoid that. Okay, the final portion of this is to go ahead and put the drain back on, the waste, and you can see I have it here. And the first thing you're going to want to slide up on here. Now obviously this lines up for me pretty well because I didn't change anything, and the center of the sink and the drain is the same drain I took apart. But if you have one that's all one piece, you've got to cut it. That's a little more difficult, and you'll have to line it up, and I recommend you put another one back on that you're able to take off with a nut in case you drop something down in there or the kids drop something in there. But again, for this one, the first thing you're going to want to do is slide a nut up, and then this this plastic washer has an angle to it, and the angle goes down because you want to have it go inside the pipe. So again, it's going to be like this when it goes on. So you want to slide this on, slide the washer on, use your hand, crank that down, tighten the back one first so that it lines up. Like that, nice and tight. And then this one, you're going to push that down inside the pipe, and you're going to line this up. And again, make sure that everything is very tight. And then one thing to do is take a towel and dry everything off to make sure when you test it that any water that's leaking is new water and not water from when you actually did this work. Okay, now it's time to turn the water back on. We'll go ahead and turn it on. You want to check for leaks. It's dry. And then you also want to check up underneath for leaks to make sure that at the faucet it's not leaking. And then we'll go ahead and turn it on, and we'll check to see if the drain and the pop-up assembly is not leaking. Because a lot of times right here is really prone to leaking. But again, if you put that initial washer on, which has the little lip to it, and put it up inside the sink, a smaller washer under it, and then the nut, it should hold as long as you screw it in really, really tight. But you're really hoping that seal, and sometimes you may even have a defect on the sink, and you might have to use something else, a little silicone or what have you, to smash it up in there so it doesn't leak. But we'll go ahead and check the top now and see if the water works. Okay, Now most of the time what I do is I always take this off. I always take the aerator out, just because just got anything that's in the lines, I don't want to have it push through and then clog that up. So we'll go ahead and check this. See how it pops air? A lot of times that shoots stuff free. You'll get dirty water. You'll get a little bit of rust, like this little spot that just came out here. And that happens, it clogs this up. So once you get that clean, go ahead and pop your aerator back in. And sometimes it's not the most friendly to pop in. But make sure when you take it apart, you leave it the way it is. Don't start moving it around. Some people get pretty confused with how to put it back together again. Okay. All right. Now we'll go ahead and check underneath. Make sure we don't have any leaks. All right. Again, here we are back underneath. Turn it on. Pop up. So I pulled the pop up. You can see it moved in the back there. And then I'm going to push it back down and drain it back out. Right now. And then we'll drain it. Drains nice. A lot better than it did before. Anyway, that's about it. Okay. Okay, well that's basically how to install a faucet and remove an old and install a new. This one was fairly simple, being that it's plastic and it's not a complicated faucet like maybe Moen or Growy. They're a little more complicated. But I will give you another video and do another installation if you'd like. If you leave me comments, subscribe to my website and subscribe to my videos, please. And also take a look at my other videos on carving, bone carving, making whistles out of deer antler and exotic woods. And again, leave your comments, let me know what you want to see, and I'll try to make something happen for you. Okay? Thank you for watching.